Through the dense jungle, a panicked, wounded girl runs away and is caught up by a robot. Stopping in front of the victim, the artificial intelligence puts its heavy leg over her and waits for a command. A few days before, a group of programmers arrives in Cambodia. They are met by a taciturn bowler, and without explaining anything, the mercenary takes the team to the base. Meanwhile, in a small village in the middle of the jungle, ex-Marine Mason fixes the hut of a local girl, Keela. Not far from the place, the medical student's truck runs into spikes hidden underground. They have to abandon the vehicle and move on foot to find some kind of village before dark. Baller orders the scientist to set up a station right in the jungle, and Baller makes it clear to the guy that he shouldn't ask too many questions. A crowd of kids with wooden assault rifles run out at the group of students, and the medics speed up to find the settlement. Back at the apartment, Jance establishes a connection with the CIA, and the team begins an operation to deliver robots that will have to take down the criminal network in the jungle. The bots begin to eject, and one of them has a parachute that won't open. Kroger manages to make contact with 3 of the 4 bots, but Baller assures the Major that this will not derail the operation. Once the mission is complete, the 3 survivors will eliminate their damaged comrade. Jance says that the module of the bot, which was damaged during the landing, is responsible for the ability to control it. That is, without the module, the machine is fine, but the programmers can't control it. The technicians test the remaining robots by giving them coordinates at a common point, and the Iron Warriors start moving. The students enter the village, but they are clearly not welcome. Only Keela comes out to meet the guests, but she too cannot understand the travelers, and Mason has to intervene in the conversation. The 3 robots successfully pass the test and arrive at the set point. Baller relays the information to the CIA, and from there comes the order to load the main task, which will be performed by the Iron Soldiers. Despite the bandits' orders, Keela allows the students to spend the night at her house. The robots begin to act according to a program the CIA has written, and the programmers realize that much has been hidden from them. Meanwhile, the boys are playing in the woods, and behind one of the rocks they find a huge parachute, from under which strange sounds can be heard. The boys roll back the cloth, under which a huge Iron Man comes to life. The robot notices a communication module in one of the boys' hands. The boy returns to his own, and the students are about to leave the village to return to the truck. But suddenly the bots open fire, not choosing who to shoot at and hitting both gangsters and civilians. 3 Iron Giants enter the village and sweep through the houses and get rid of everyone. The programmers realize that they have been duped into launching robots that kill more than just the bad guys. Baller picks up a gun and asks everyone to calm down and get on with their work. The mercenary explains that there should be no witnesses left in the village. Mason and the gangster make their way to the cabin to rescue the group of students and Keela and her son, but at the last minute the bandit changes his mind and leaves alone. After hiding the company in cover, the Navy SEAL returns to the camp and comes into the robot's line of sight. Seeing him through the security camera, the Major doesn't understand how a military American could be in the jungle. The commander orders Bowler to stop the robot aggression for a while to take a closer look, and the agents see a whole group of American citizens on the screen. Bowler regrets it, but now they have no choice but to eliminate anyone who might tell too much. A 4th robot without a communication module shows up in the village. It connects to the student's tablet and scans photos of the boy. One of the students runs away from the Iron Man, and after catching up with her, he drags his leg over her. None of the programmers give the robot a command, but it gets out of hand and massacres the girl. For the night, the company hides in a cave between rocks, but one of the students breaks away from the others and is injured. The guy tries to hide, but the robot finds him and an inhuman scream spreads through the jungle. A 4th robot contacts the control room and starts downloading files without asking for permission. Baller orders the programmers to stop it, but the bot without the module is completely out of control. The CIA orders the machine to be destroyed by sending a self-destruct code to it, but the machine realizes what is happening and refuses access. Baller begins to panic, and he pulls all the wires from the computers. After conferring, the programmers decide to write a new program that will allow the other 3 robots to destroy the 4th, which has lost control. Hearing the voices of the humans, the robots return to camp to finish the task, but after deciding that they are after him, the boy stands in front of one of the bots and shows the module, offering to take it away and lead the settlement alone. Nothing works. The module does not stop the cyborg, and it continues to attack. Trying to steer it away from the group, Mason attacks the machine and runs into the woods, setting booby traps along the way. As the Marine finishes off the damaged robot, Baller orders the programmers to start the self-destruct mode, and noticing a red light at the last moment, Mason manages to jump away. Kroger assures Bowler that no one could have survived such an explosion, but the mercenary does not believe it and demands proof. He turns out to be right. Mason wakes up and gets out of the ground. Returning to his friends, the Marine sees that Keela has been seriously wounded, and the young doctors try to help her, but the wound is too severe. The boy's father, the leader of the bandits, also turns up nearby already without any signs of life, and sobbing over his body, the boy tells Mason about the detail he found in the woods. Balder reports everything to the Major and asks him to send in drones that will clear the area completely. The first and second robots find the fourth and, under orders from the commanding officer, open fire on it, but the clever machine dodges. The programmers notice this, and they are surprised by how quickly the cyborg has acquired new skills. Balder suggests destroying one of the controlled bots so that he can destroy the rebel along with himself, but the management reverses the order. The fourth reconnects to the shared server, and after sending the technicians a message of thanks, he begins downloading the system. The robot becomes so clever that it disconnects the module from its mate and downloads it for itself. Kroger offers an idea. He has spare modules with a combat program he wrote to upgrade. If you load this module into the damaged third man, you can make it so that he defeats the rebellious friend, and that ends the problem. Anne manages to call her buddy in America. Balder notices this, and the girl has to flee to save her life, but after being wounded, the girl is trapped and the mercenary massacres her. Finished with Anne, Balder calls the States and calls the number the girl managed to call, ordering him to clean up his tracks, which the hit man quickly accomplishes. Balder tells the programmers that his girlfriend betrayed them and they need to move elsewhere. Realizing that it is too dangerous to walk on the ground, Mason helps the team climb the liana to the rocks. He constructs a special hoist for Keela, but the girl is getting worse. The team then lifts the injured student, and only Jordan is left below, who doesn't have time to get up as he is spotted by the robot. The guy tries to hide and climb up on the other side to the team, but he fails, and the student is about to pull the trigger to avoid becoming a victim of the robot. At the last second, he is stopped by his girlfriend's scream, which distracts the bot. Jordan climbs up with the others, but the robot manages to spot it and comes up after him. The boy knocks him down by throwing a rock, but that just gives the company some time. Bowler brings the programmers to the new headquarters and is about to leave. To keep the technicians from wanting to run off after their friend, the mercenary shows them pictures of their family members, hinting at what will happen if they violate. Balder arrives at the same spot to put a new communication module on the third. The plan works. The bot turns on immediately as soon as the mercenary loads the chip into it, and after saying goodbye, it runs off into the jungle. The group stops for a breather, and leaving everyone at the edge of the cave, the Marine goes deep into the jungle to see where to move next. The company hears footsteps, and suddenly a blind old man, who has spent many years in this cave, emerges from the darkness. After moving the company to a more secluded corner, the Marine calls it quits to gather his strength for another dash. In the evening, Mason tells Keela about how he failed the mission and got the whole group killed because of him. After listening to her buddy, the girl asked him to take care of herself and her son, who no longer has any family left, as she senses her imminent passing. In the morning, Keela does not wake up, but the company cannot help her because a robot appears in the cave. The girls stay by Keela's side, while the men try to get rid of the stalker or at least get him away. The bot notices the camp, and Mason runs to the exit, hoping the machine will run after him, and he succeeds. The cyborg tries to catch up with the Marine and gets trapped, falling between the rocks. The company has to get past the robot, which is stuck in the rocks but keeps moving. Unable to stand it, Jordan fires several bullets at the machine and asks the Marine where the cyborg came from. The SEAL has no trouble recognizing the military's MO and guesses that they just become inconvenient witnesses. Finally, the company emerges from the stone maze. The programmers contact their superiors and are promised a handsome reward if they complete the mission, but Jags writes a note to his buddy assuring him that they will not be released alive. Keela dies right in Mason's arms, managing once more to ask him not to leave the boy. The entire company mourns the girl who has saved their lives so many times. Keela's body is left in the ruins of a Buddhist monastery. Near the ruins, the group is found by a robot that managed to get out of a stone trap. Mason sends the boy and the students to the exit, and he asks Jordan to stay behind to lead the robot away. The boy finds no way out, and the company has to hide from the bot, while the Marine looks for a way to get rid of it. Finally, a way out is found and the group leaves, and a couple of minutes later the men run after them, confident that they have managed to get away. Balder stays in the jungle and pursues the third, hoping to help him get rid of unnecessary witnesses and a rebellious comrade. Kroger contacts the mercenary and tells him that all three robots are now nearby. Mason tries to figure out how the bots keep finding them, and finally he guesses that the part the boy carries in his backpack has a beacon in it. Stepping away from his friends, the Marine throws the module away, hoping that's how they can escape. but it doesn't work. The techs turn on a program that allows the bot to search for victims by footsteps. It catches up with the company in the open and begins exterminating witnesses. Mason saves the guy, but finds himself in the hands of the robot, and it seems that he is finished. But at that moment, the bot is attacked by his comrade and a separate battle begins between the cyborgs. There is a conflict between the technicians as well. Kroger demands that his buddy sees things through so that none of their relatives are hurt. Having finished with the robot, the Iron Man heads to Mason and asks for his name in a human voice. The Major watches what is going on, but the programmers have to disable it in order to prevent the rebel from downloading the entire system into himself. Another student finds himself the victim of a botched expedition, and the girls fall down beside his body, realizing that the guy can't be helped. Bot asks the Marine about his mission, trying to understand why he is putting the boy's life before his own. The robot asks if he too could be alive, but his philosophical musings are interrupted by the fourth surviving cyborg, and the machines are once again competing for power. Mason hurries his friends so they can leave while the cyborgs are busy with each other, but Baller shows up behind them. This time it's Jordan who gets hurt, and the Marine orders the guy to escape and save his friends while he fights back. Baller is about to pull the trigger, but the Marine persuades him to come out fighting like a real man. A bot comes to Mason's rescue and grabs the mercenary's leg, and he goes down. Everyone ends up in the same spot, and the CIA major orders the programmers to blow up the cyborgs to end it all at once. Kroger would love to do it, except the software won't let him. The Fourth himself activates self-destruct mode, alerting Mason so that he has time to hide his friends. Baller thinks he has time to deactivate the bomb, but a couple of seconds later the explosion still sounds. The CIA major is furious, but he realizes that he will not be turned away from participating in the terrifying ordeal. Also, the programmers notice that the Fourth did manage to download the data, but they don't have time to find out where, because the major gets rid of the technicians who know too much. The survivors make their way out of the jungle, mourning their fallen friends. Looking at the boy, Mason realizes he's done all he can.